Hello guys, welcome back to a new Wo Long Fallen Dynasty video that we've all been waiting for, discussing the almighty DLC that is finally almost upon us for Wo Long. It's going to introduce a ton of new content, a ton of new things into the game that we're all going to get to enjoy. Let's get right into the original announcement. So the first DLC releases, as many of you probably know, on June 29th. And DLC key art was released as well with this announcement for the Battle of Zhongyuan DLC for Wo Long Fallen Dynasty. This key DLC art depicts 3 characters on screen, one of which is wearing the DLC armor and using dual wielding weapons, the other in the background with a hammer, and then one that we already actually have in the game, which is Cao Cao. Now, some things to note before I get into the character development is the Battle of Zhongyuan DLC will include all new stages, difficulty level, weapon type, enemies, and more. And it should actually give us a lot of new content to Wo Long Fallen Dynasty that I know many of us have been waiting for. A lot of people have been replaying the game a lot and taking their time to master it completely, to get platinum trophies, etc. And that will end up helping you out on this DLC launch. So this DLC is based around the historical Battle of Zhongyuan, which was fought between warlords Cao Cao and Wan Shao, both of which characters actually appear in the main campaign of Wo Long. The visual here shows Cao Cao in the back, as well as 2 upcoming characters. The designs for the new characters are suggesting that the characters are Dan Wei and Zhu Zhu, 2 famed bodyguards of Cao Cao. So we see him standing in the background here, one of the new characters in front of him and one of the new characters to the right. Again, this is important because it follows the historical aspect of the battle itself, which is obviously the whole point of the DLC, given the DLC is based around the Battle of Zhongyuan itself. Hopefully with new stages, we'll see a couple different acts or a couple different parts that are brand new, so that way we'll have a decent amount of content to play through. As far as a brand new difficulty level, hopefully we see an additional difficulty added on top of Rising Dragon. So currently we have Crouching Dragon, Rising Dragon, and I'm assuming we're going to be seeing a brand new difficulty level that will allow us to replay the actual parts of the game via start to finish, hopefully all parts. And with the addition of different enemy types, hopefully this will throw more enemy types into the base actual part of the game through this new difficulty. So when you go through parts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, etc., you'll see brand new enemy types introduced as fights into those levels of the game. Hopefully this will make a difficulty level more rewarding for the player. At this point, that's just really speculation, but hopefully through the addition of enemies and some more things that they're going to be adding that they haven't exactly announced yet, it will allow for a little bit more variation and replayability amongst these levels. Maybe some of these levels will even have some sort of a random enemy type kind of spawn throughout the level, things like that. I'm really excited to see what Team Ninja is going to bring to this game via this DLC. As far as the weapon type, I would speculate about the weapon type, but giving it's just guessing at this point, I'm not going to speculate too much. It could be a weapon type of one of the 2 new characters that we get, if it's a weapon type that we don't currently already have. But there's so many weapon types for so many of these characters and Dynasty Warriors, etc., that I'm not even going to guess. At this point, it wouldn't make sense to get Sword and Shield, as there are a bunch of DLCs left, so I'm assuming we'll get something like that maybe later down the line. But we are expecting a new weapon type, and hopefully it will be very good because everybody's going to be using it when the DLC drops. And one more thing to mention on this announcement, they do mention more things being added on top of these big things that they're already adding. So hopefully that will be some things that we don't expect them to add, which would be nice, and I'm sure there'll be surprising changes, as well as maybe some different things like I mentioned in one of my previous DLC videos, like customizable armor, things like that. And so hopefully that will be a part of this DLC, or hopefully features that are brand new to the game that we've never seen will be added, and it will kind of bring some fresh excitement and thrill to the game, along with all this content that we're going to be seeing on June 29th. Team Ninja is still updating Wo Long very frequently, every 2 to 3 weeks, bringing new features to the game, item tracking, all kinds of new things, fixing bugs, and things that are going to make the game in a very playable state, which it already is now with the patches that they've currently already done to get ready for DLC release. They're also tweaking and updating spells, damage, a lot of other things, and adding even brand new sub-battlefields and stages very frequently, as well as just making a bunch of changes overall to make the game much more enjoyable for people to play through. And there are a lot of things like I mentioned, such as the adding the new battlefield, Crouching Dragons Battle Royale. This is a very fun new sub-battlefield that they've added, so before the DLC comes out, if you haven't played this, it's definitely a challenge. And if you're like me who platinumed Wo Long Fallen Dynasty and then took maybe a month break and came back to the game, coming back to try and specifically beat this new sub-battlefield just to get back in the rhythm a little bit, prepare to get a little frustrated, because if you don't play this game for a month, I found out the hard way, at first you just get literally destroyed by everybody. So make sure before the DLC comes out, come back a little bit, play this sub-battlefield if you haven't already and beat it. It takes you through a lot of different bosses and is actually pretty challenging to get ready for the DLC when it drops. Now, as a lot of you already know, Diablo does come out this month, so a lot of players will be playing Diablo 4. Additionally, Final Fantasy comes out, I believe, on the 22nd of June, just a week prior to this DLC launch, so there will be many players also playing that. But make sure you come back and check out the DLC when this comes out June 29th, because I have a feeling it's going to be very, very good, and videos will be here on the channel to discuss this as soon as it comes out. Make sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe if you're new. Thanks.